Hi, this is Sandy, and I'm working with some bits and pieces on my craft table. And so I'm going to work on my Rolodex card for Dex It Up. And I thought I'd just bring you along while I work on that. And I have this scrap of blue paper that I'm going to put for some sky. I think I want to try to use these flowers that I had die cut out previously and put together, and they're just in some of my bits and pieces. And so my goal is to use some bits and pieces that I have. I have stickers that are left over from a collection, and so I'm just going to try to use some of the pieces I have here. I hate to throw things away, so I try to find ways that I can use them and make something out of them. So I'm going to start by gluing some blue paper up here for some sky. And then I've got this piece of paper that you can see I've used on 2 other projects. And so it's got a little bit of green on it. I thought I would just use that for some grass. And I'm going to put it on the bottom, and then I can cut it off so that it doesn't matter that the bottom has been used for some die cutting that I did. And the thing about a Rolodex card is it's really not very big. So it doesn't take a very big piece of paper to cover it. So it makes it nice for using those smaller scraps that you have. And once again, things left over from another project. I usually cover my Rolodex card and decorate it on both sides. But for right now, my idea is to work on this one side and then see if I get a good idea for what I want to do on the other side. I always do the back side upside down so that when it hangs in my circular Rolodex card, for instance, this is the front side, and then when it rolls over in the circular Rolodex, then I have another scene that's on this side, something else to look at. Years ago, it was used for addresses for my husband and I and his construction company. But, you know, we do so much of that stuff online, and we are retired, so he just basically does side jobs at this point. So I don't need to have that. And so the Dex It Up collab gives me an opportunity to do something with these cards that were just sitting there. And instead of taking up space, I have little pieces of art that I have created now since I started working on it. And I was kind of thinking I could put some flowers on here. It's okay if they hang off. I can cut them off. I don't know if you're like me or not, but I find such joy when I'm able to use up little bits and pieces that I have and find something useful for them. So that mushroom would look cute there. I also had a frog. I thought the frog would look cute. They both look cute. Now I have the dilemma of which one I want to put on there. I think I'll try this one again with the mushroom. It's interesting how as you're crafting, my original thought was a frog. Now I'm kind of leaning on the mushroom. Don't really think I have room on there to put both of them on there. And my thought was to put the flowers on the longer part, the taller part, I guess, of the Rolodex card. And something shorter in the center where it's going to be having the cutout so that it fits onto the Rolodex holder. I also have a butterfly. And I kind of like that too. There are just so many options. And there's a YouTube crafter. I'm trying to think of exactly how she puts it. There's no wrong way to use paper. I think that's what she says. Her name is Ginger. But anyway, there's no wrong way to use paper, I think is what she says. And I'm thinking there's not really any wrong way of what I put on there either. So it's just a matter of me making up my mind. But I kind of think I'm going to go with the mushroom. And then I just need to glue them on. The nice thing about this glue is it dries clear. So if it'll get a little bit in a spot I don't really want it, it does dry clear. And I'm just, because this was flowers glued on top of another die cut piece, I am just putting dots behind the flowers. And this is a sticker. So I'm just going to stick that on there. And I think that's a cute little spring card. I'm really wanting spring. Our weather keeps going from cold, and then we'll have a few warm days, and then we go back to cold again. So you need the furnace part of the time and the air conditioner part of the time. I really want spring where I don't have to worry about the furnace at all. And I just get to have warm weather and see all the birdies and the flowers and green grass. I'll cut the stems off the bottom. And I'm trying to think. I probably could. I've got a bunch of flowers. I actually have another one of the mushrooms over here. And I've got the frog I haven't used. And the butterfly. I could just make another scene on this side. I just need to pull out some more paper that I could use. So I've got a few scraps. It's not big enough to go that way. But I could do it this way. It doesn't have as much blue in the top. If it was a wider piece of paper, then I could end up with some blue on the top too, as well as a green. If I put it down a little bit, maybe ink some blue on the top of that. I could do that. Ink a little bit of blue on there. We'll see. This is Broken China Distress Oxide. And the card's about that big, so. I think that'll work fine to just add some blue. And the card's not as big, so I probably need to come down a little bit or else it's center the card when I glue it on a little bit more. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll just center it a little bit. I'm getting more and more so that I think of using inks to alter paper I have. I've usually tried to find the right color paper or whatever for whatever project I'm doing. But I've seen a lot of people who, for one thing, just die cut out a lot of white things and then they just ink them to whatever color they want. And it's a good way of not having to have every color on the planet. I'm going to make this a little more green. Not having to have every color on the planet in your stash, because you can kind of create your own stuff. And I like the variation in that. It's not a solid green anywhere, and it's not a solid blue anywhere. So I like that. There's a lot of variation in nature. So now I'm thinking if I just want to make sure that when I flip the card, it's right. Last month I made the mistake of putting them both going the same direction, and that didn't really work out for. Okay, so I think if I glue it right about there. I think right about in here is what I thought. And it doesn't have to be exact. Use a baby wipe to clean that little bit of ink off my glass mat. And cut my card out. When it's cut out, we'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like on the other side when it's the right size. It's nice to use the bigger scissors on the outside. And then I use my fussy cutting scissors for the two little spots. I do have a Heidi Swapp punch that will make a Memorydex or Rolodex card with the two cutouts on it. But when I've got a card that's already got the cutout in it, it can be a little harder to line up. So sometimes it's just easier to fussy cut it out. And if it's not exact, it doesn't really matter. Once it's in the holder, nobody's going to notice that it's not cut out just exactly and perfect. Okay, now for the moment of truth. I think that's going to be cute. Get rid of my scraps. Now, let's see. I think I really would like to use the little froggy this time. But I almost feel like I need something down here. Wonder if I could tear a little piece so it would give it some texture. I could just add something that would kind of ground the little froggy on there. my piece is narrow enough, it's harder to rip, but if I get it going, I think it'll be okay. And we'll see if that kind of gives some unevenness like grass, and if I like the way it looks, because we're just playing today. I think I do like that it adds a little bit of texture on the grass. So I'm going to glue that on the bottom. I'll just glue the bottom part of it. Doesn't have to be exact. And if a little bit of it sticks up, that just adds some texture to it. So we'll just do that. Just cut the extra off. Okay, that adds some grass to this and some texture to go with the little froggy. And I think I want to use him, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and commit, put him on there, and then I'll just decorate around him. I think he's so cute. And then I've got a lot of cute little flowers and stuff that I could put on here. Excuse the cough. I have some other little flowers I'm thinking about just scattering around. Some of these flowers I think are just too big for what I'm doing. I do have another little birdie I could put on there. Might be kind of cute on that flower, like he's sitting on the flower. I love birds. I have bird feeders I can watch outside the window, sitting right here at my craft table. And it's one of my favorite pastimes. I can get distracted sometimes from crafting by watching the birdies at the bird feeder. But we stationed them. I'm on a second floor with my craft room, and there we have a deck off of my craft room. And so we brought the bird feeders up and fastened them to the side of the deck so that I could watch them from here, because when they were down on ground level, I just really didn't, they weren't positioned in an area where I could see them very well outside. And so I didn't get to watch them very much. So having them up here off my craft room is a blessing and a distraction. But I love it. I love watching them. We have a lot of cardinals, and I love the red cardinals. Do I want to add any more little ones? Never hurts to kind of have lots of flowers. It's the time of year where I am so ready for flowers. Here's a little tuft of grass that might be kind of cute. And I'm thinking, I didn't put any words on that side, but I'm kind of thinking, I had these come from the Tim Holtz words, and I put them out for another project, but I'm kind of thinking I might just put live in the moment right there. just to give a little something extra on the card. A little message when I look at this card. It's a little reminder. It's so easy to always be looking ahead and trying to figure out what all you need to do. And I don't think I have any more little butterflies. Although just a minute. I have small iris containers full of butterflies, and I'll bet I have a small one in there. You can see that I have been collecting butterflies of all size and shape, and I just need to be using them. So I have a bunch of little butterflies in here, and I just want a tiny one. There's a couple smaller ones. I just want a tiny one because it's such a tiny card. There's some little gold ones. This has a bunch of different ones, some pink ones. Okay, let's look at those, see what I can do. The gold ones might be kind of cute. Have more gold ones in here. Here's one that's a little bigger. But I think I like the smaller ones better just because they fit better. There's a gold one too. I could put a couple. Sometimes I do that so that they're like flying off the... Looks like they're kind of flying off, so maybe I'll do that. And I'm being able to use up some more butterflies that have been sitting there across the room on a shelf. Here's an itty bitty little one. Okay, time to use the pokey tool. And just have them kind of flying off the card. Okay, I think I like that. I think I'm going to quit with that. It's kind of busy, but I think it's kind of fun too. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I will be posting this for Decks It Up, and I'll have the channels that are hosting it listed down below in the description box. I don't have them right off the top of my head here because I didn't know for sure what I was going to do when I sat down to craft today. So thank you for watching. There's the front, and here's the back with some fun spring theme ideas. So thank you for joining me.